And here we go.
Thanks,
So,
Paul, for inviting me to at least have a kind of a conversation about the active aging lifestyle and what it is. So I'm going to get kind of linear so that each point you can recognize and discuss within your, you know, within the work that you're doing. So one of the most important things I think about active aging is that it acknowledges and recognizes that we have the capacity to continue to grow, contribute, engage from engage for much of our lifetime. Life doesn't end at 65. And I think that sometimes people respond to retirement or age 65 as, you know, a dropping off point. So with active aging, the focus is not about increasing life expectancy,
right.
although that can be a consequence of practicing the active aging lifestyle. But what it does is active aging actually increases the healthy life expectancy. And that's what we're looking for. It's healthy without illness. You know, rather than following the natural progression of a body that is aging, what active aging does is it promotes uh, active an active healthy lifestyle so that that aging period is one that is, you know, in health. That's the whole point of active aging. And if you choose an active aging lifestyle, you make a commitment to live that lifestyle for the rest of your life.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Um, the uh,
Hey,
the
you know,
active.
you
Go
you
ahead.
had you had mentioned that you didn't mind if I interjected.
Oh yes, please.
I really appreciate that, but I thought maybe just kind of I thought some of the other classmates might like to know sort of how you approach active aging at a personal level, but also what your role is in terms of active aging at Waikiki Community Center, and then maybe in other at the state level or in other community organizations.
I'll get to that after I cover the highlights of what active aging is, and then those that will outflow, and I'll keep that in mind. Um, you know, I think the misunderstanding about stages of development. You know, everybody understands the stage of development called childhood, adulthood. Well, the third stage is about the development of that age between 60, roughly 60 and 80. Okay, so there's like 20, possibly 30 years in that time. And then the stage after that is called older adulthood.
Mhm.
So, you know, we're just filling in the stages so that people don't feel like it's dropping off. Okay. This is a time, this is a really important time as as you get older, as I get older. It's time to really look at the life journey, you know, reflect upon what it is that you did and accomplished, and taking that and identifying both your strengths and your passion, and maybe even your purpose in life. If you haven't figured that out by then, this is the time to do it because life purpose becomes the driver. That's my experience.
Mm.
Okay. So there are 5 key areas of focus: purpose and meaning, health, financial well being, social and emotional health, and what is called fourth age plans and legacy. So, legacy is the highlight.
Mm.
Okay. So, that's the formula that I basically follow personally. Um, I am, so as an example, I have arthritis. I have
Mm.
rheumatoid arthritis and have had it for 20 years. But, and fortunately, through medical technology lifestyle practice, I've been able to manage it so that it doesn't cramp my style. Let's put it that way. I'm able to function as a healthy individual. I mean,
Great.
I can't hike, I can't jump up and down on hard surfaces because of my knees. But I mean, that's hardly it. I can work around that. And
Yeah.
I think that, active aging, what happens is that I examined, the lifestyle that I had, and looked at areas that I could improve in order to maintain that active lifestyle. So I guess a pretty active person. I've always been very gregarious, always looking to solve problems and help others, lots of volunteering, always giving, always giving to others. And what has happened in this stage is that I'm now focused on me. I still do the other things, but I've sort of taken a little different perspective in doing a lot of self-care. And in that process, understanding how that active lifestyle transformed into my ability to do the things that I really want to do purposefully. So one of the things that I'm very interested in, first of all, or I should say is a pet peeve, is that ageism. I bat off ageism like mosquitoes attacking the body. And
Yeah.
I try to remind people that that's really a myth. It's really a myth, and that it's so subtle that people assume that to be true. So, of course, there's a part of me that always wants to one up the situation, and so I really work to be active and healthy in order to do that. The other thing is that I've always known uh, in the general area of what my life purpose is. It's to learn, to grow, and to love. Um, and it's always about, giving to others and experiencing the fulfillment of giving. So life purpose and meaning, because of, where I am in the third stage of my life, um, I'm very interested in supporting older adults, and I call them older adults, not seniors, not, elders. I mean, all these words, because I think older adults has the least inference of
Yeah.
people being useless or decrepit or, that kind of thing. Um, so I use older adults. So my life purpose seems to um, now begin to focus on older adults, because I think that there's a need there, and I think that people have bought into too much of the advertising about what happens to older adults, and I think that we have so much to contribute because of all the years of experience.
Yeah.
Now, the conversion of that is really about working on purpose and meaning. Now, my big area, because of the chronic illness of arthritis, is health. So I have always been a merger of traditional Western medicine as well as natural healing, as well as things like yoga and meditation. And, I spend quite a bit of time actually, and this is under the social emotional health, on spiritual work, and I spend a lot of time in understanding who I am as a purpose, as a person, and consciously, who am I and why am I here? What is my life about? Why was I put on this earth? And that's where I am. And of course, there's financial well-being, making sure that you have the finances to cover you, you know, your entire lifetime, or
Yeah.
or strategies to do that. Now, I come from a family where my family has lived into the 90s. My mother lived to 101.
101. Wow.
yeah, and she walked at least 3 miles a day for most of her life. I mean, most of her retirement life.
Oh, wow.
So she walked from Manoa to, I live in Nu'uanu. So she walked from Manoa to Nu'uanu, so much so that the bus driver would stop and ask her if she needed a ride or if she was going to continue to walk. You know, she got to be a known, she got to be a known entity. So,
That's a long way.
yeah, and you know, the fifth thing, key focus area for active aging is what is called the fourth age plan, which is the plan for 80 and beyond, and the legacy that I want to leave.
Yeah.
So, I mean, in a nutshell, that's active aging. Now, you ask the question, well, how do I translate that into what I do at the community center?
Mm-hmm.
I'm at the community center because I have an opportunity to affect the kind of programs that people can get involved in to help them to maintain, increase their healthy life. And so you had asked earlier, initially, when you were looking at forest bathing, the principles of active aging is what I looked at as the baseline philosophy for developing the programs for our older adults at the center. So I try to provide a variety of things that look at all 5 of these key focus areas. And because most people experience health changes, there's a lot of programming and presentation around the different kinds of health issues that older adults may, you know, may encounter. You know, I try to do the whole, the social emotional health piece, which is about engagement and connection and all of that through a variety of ways, like through a regular exercise class where people are both working on their physical bodies as well as their social connections and their engagement by coming to a class on a regular basis, on a regular day,
Yeah.
you know, that kind of thing. So giving them a routine, but a routine to promote a healthy lifestyle, you know, connecting with people and all of those things. I have attempted to work on legacy pieces by having people in conversation circles talk about life stories. But it's very interesting to me that the generation that is at the community center are more in their 70s and 80s. And somehow there doesn't seem to be a real appreciation, or maybe people have never asked them, you know, what do they think is their legacy? They have a really difficult time about talking about their life contribution. And my belief is that the more they talk about it, even if they don't want to talk about it or feel like they can't retrieve the information, the more they'll realize the value that they have provided for the people around them. But it's interesting. I think it's generational. You know, of course, you know, people have to come regularly so that they feel comfortable with the group too. So yeah, so that's how I do it. This next thing that I'm doing right now, because I believe in intergenerational connections, is with this new initiative that I'm working on, which is about building resilience in Waikiki before, during, and after disaster. My part in that particular project is helping to build connectivity within the community. Now, I've never done that, so you know, I'm planning on pulling different groups, interest groups within the Waikiki community to begin to do, you know, provide different ways for people to connect with each other, because I think too that COVID has been a real issue in terms of people feeling isolated,
Yeah,
especially our older adults. So, like I said, I'm at the front end, but it's, part of I think it's part of a life purpose,
yeah.
to bring people together. I mean, in its broadest sense,
How
that's who I
exciting.
am. Yeah, it is
Yeah,
very exciting.
it's
So
very,
that's my spiel for tonight.
okay. Well, hey, that's wonderful. And before I pause the recording, I want to thank you personally, because I'm just loving what you have to say, and it's really inspiring. Um, and then also just on behalf of the class, because I know people really appreciate it. And what you say connects so directly with so many of the themes that we've been talking about this semester and that we're going to continue to be talking about. It's very helpful, very, very
Thank
helpful.
you. Well,
Uh,
thank you for the opportunity.
really, really appreciate it. And I mean, I can't say you're welcome because I feel like that's, I'm the one that needs to thank you. But anyway, I will say you're welcome.
Well, I mean, if you continue to carry out the work and continue to think in that line of thinking when it comes to gerontology, any small move, either with uh, the children of the people that you work with, or if a small move could change the thinking to move towards a healthier lifestyle,
Yeah.
it's a step. It's a step that we all need to take. So kudos to you guys, because you're the next wave,
Yeah.
and we have we very few of us are ready to forge this direction. And I have to acknowledge that most of my material on active aging comes from a professor at the University of Hawaii School of Social Work, Dr. Cullen Hayashida.
Mm.
Yeah, and I initially really gravitate. I was living the lifestyle, but I never had the framework,
Mhm.
and this has made it a lot easier for me. But the interesting proposal that he has about active aging um, is based on the fact that the kind of financial input that we're putting into long-term care,
Mhm.
there is no way that the state of Hawaii can even afford what's going to be needed in the future. However, if a whole group of us continue to stay healthy until we have to have that kind of care, we actually have an opportunity and a chance to provide the care for the people in the highest need area without, so it's also a financial thing,
Yeah.
for the state and for yourself too. I mean, who wants to pay for that long-term care? I don't even want to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't even want to be there. I mean, my life is my mother was independent till she died. So I have models. See, fortunately, I have really good models.
Yeah. Yeah. That's wonderful. Well, I can originally what we were kind of going for was a shorter message. But what I think I can do is we can make the longer recording available, and then maybe I can, because our presentation is a relatively short class presentation. But what I'll do, the students are very, very interested in what exactly the kind of topics that you're talking about. I know they're going to be interested in hearing from your experience. You articulate, so clearly and in such a compelling way. So what we can do is, maybe have a shorter version that's a part of the presentation, and then with the link out. And I want to say too that I'm very happy to hear the mention of your influence from our School of Social Work. And, I've also had a chance to hear from doctors Catherine Braun and Dr. Colette Brown, and then now our teacher, Dr. Jane Lee, who is fantastic and is really carrying the torch of this cause of active aging. And, that's what a very central theme in our gerontology program and in our class. So makes me even happier that you were willing to meet, especially late at night like this, and we can make this happen. So I'm going to stop the recording and thank you so much. So mahalo nui loa.
And to you too. You could cut the recording off at the first thank you.
Okay.
That would shorten it big time.
All righty. I'm going to go ahead and stop it right now.
All right, go ahead.